Let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to select connectMLS, and it is logging me in. So if my dashboard or my home page of my connectMLS looks totally different from yours, that's completely fine. It just means that I have some activity going on and I've set it up exactly how I like. If you want to learn how to edit your settings or anything like that, that is the Bootcamp Series 1. So check out Series 1 and it'll help you out with it, okay? But for today's bootcamp, we are going over the search feature. We are going to navigate the search field. We are going to utilize the smart bar and set up our defaults. So that is the format for today. So let's go ahead and go to the search field. So if I hover my mouse over it, it's this little magnifying glass at the very top. I can either go ahead and just hover my mouse over, which gives me this drop down, and I can select general search and choose residential, which we are going to be working with a residential property search today. Or if I just click the magnifying glass itself, it'll pull up my search criteria field and I can plug in everything. So I have my search pulled up. And what you're going to do is you're going to notice there's a whole bunch of stuff on this page that might look a little new to you. We have a few features that are added on. So this map off means the map is currently not on my page. But if I click this map on, it pulls the map up of the state of Georgia, which of course I haven't plugged anything in. So it's giving me a huge map, which I think is wonderful. But if I click that map on again, it just turns it off. So now my map is off, so it's not on that page. You'll also see map results and view results. But I'm not going to view all these because right now we have a total of 17,000 matches. So your matches will always be right here on the right-hand side of your search page. You can also download your results and save your search at any given time. Right below my matches are all the filters that are going to be populated on my screen. So anything that I plug in on the left-hand side, which is going to be on this side of my screen, will populate right here in a single line list view format, which I really appreciate because sometimes you don't want to scroll through all the information on the left-hand side. And what you'll do is you'll just see them listed here on the right. You can always clear your search at any time as well. So if you are working with something and maybe you're just like, okay, I just want to start all over, you can click clear all and it starts you all over. There is also this default option. You see this gear right here on the right-hand side with defaults next to it. If you click this, you're given 3 options. You can begin a new search with your default, or a new search with the system default, which this right here is the system default, where it automatically populates to residential, single-family residence in these statuses. Or you can also save your current as your default. So if I am working with a property search that I know I'm going to pull up continuously, I can save that as a default. And what it'll do is every single time I go ahead and load a search screen, those criteria or filters will populate for me automatically. So that is your defaults. Right below my filters and defaults will be my previous searches and my saved searches. There will be up to 100 of your previous searches saved in your history here on the right-hand side. So if you just did a search yesterday and you were going, hey, I want to go ahead and re-pull it up just to kind of see what's changed in the system, my previous searches will be right here. These are also searches that are running currently where I have them set as automatic searches. And this is my list of saved searches. All right, I'm going to scroll back up to the top. And now what we're going to do is discuss everything that is on my left-hand side. So today we're going to be doing a search with just residential single-family residence properties. Okay. So on the left, I have residential automatically selected, but anything in blue, I can modify or adjust, which means sometimes there's a clickable feature that is in it. So right here, that drop down, what I can do is I can go ahead and select, all right, residential, but we also have residential income, lease, land, commercial sale, commercial lease, and cross property. We're working with residential. Right below, you'll see there's map boundaries. So I can click this right here, which will take me to the map, and I can go ahead and select my boundaries, like plugging in a particular address. We will work with that later. You can also plug in listing ID numbers. Below this is my property subtype, where I can go ahead and, again, anything that you see blue, I can click in and it'll give me a drop down to choose multiple options from. So like I said, today we're working with single family residence, but if I wanted townhouse to be there as well, I just can click it. Maybe I want condos pulled up too. I can click the link and it pulls it all up. To eliminate them, just click the X. Right below that is my status. So my status is, it's in blue. So I know there's a drop down that'll pull up with it. All I did was click the little drop down option and this screen pulled up. Right now, we automatically have selected active, back on market, active under contract, new, price change, but I can go ahead and add any additional one that I may need just by clicking right in the box. If I don't need it, unclick it. If I was working with CMAs, I would obviously look up solds. I'm going to exit out of this, and we're going to leave those statuses there for me. Here's where I can go ahead and adjust and modify my price point, plug in property addresses if I have a particular address in mind, and same thing for county searches. I can select in here, which gives me a drop down of every single county. But if I know I'm going to be working with a particular county and I don't feel like scrolling through the alphabet list, I can go ahead and type anything. Maybe I'm working with DeKalb. So I just put in DE and I can select DeKalb and it pops up for me. I can also have multiple counties if I would like, but for now I'm just going to leave it blank. We're just discussing the search page first. I can plug in my city, postal code, and subdivisions. Below that is going to be my bedrooms, bathrooms, schools. I can even plug in total finished area and some additional features. So right here where it says select/type to narrow, I can click in that box and it gives me a whole bunch of features through a drop down. If I want to type in anything, I can write fenced and it gives me the list of fenced in backyard, blah, 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 stuff like that. And leave it blank for now. We'll discuss some more. I can go through my lot size, year built, close date for if I was working with a CMA, I'd want to go ahead and put those close date in. Property conditions, again, click in it, gives you a drop down. All right. So right below this, we have a few additional links that are going to be at the bottom. Two of them is one, show advanced option. So right here at the bottom left, there's an advanced option, which will give you, if I click it over, the must have one or more, must not have any, or must have all options. So this feature is here just by clicking at the bottom left, toggle that over, and it pops up. Or if there's some additional fields that I want to go ahead and look up, at the bottom right of my search screen where it says add/remove fields, if I click this, a new screen will pop up and it'll give me all of the additional fields that I can add to my search criteria. So if I want to add anything to my search criteria, I can scroll through this list on the left and click the plus sign. The plus just means I'm adding it over to my current search criteria. My current search criteria is on the right-hand side. So I click to have that association popped up and it'll go all the way to the bottom. For instance, maybe I want basement included in my search criteria. So if I click that plus next to basement, it removes it on the left-hand side, and it is now at the very bottom of my current search. So here's that basement I just added in. If I want to change the order of my search, you see how my mouse has the 4 arrowheads? I can click and drag to change the order of my search criteria or my filters. If I want to remove any of these, so maybe I'm not necessarily worried about the elementary school, just click the X and it removes the elementary school. Maybe I don't need the high school. Click X and it eliminates it. Additionally, with the left-hand side, there's a few things that I can go through. Maybe I don't want to scroll through this entire list and I'm going, I want to go ahead and look up the private or public remarks, because sometimes realtors put little hints in there for your for some properties and you want to pull those up. Right here where it says filter, if I click in this box, I can type in anything that I kind of want to pull up and add to my search. So I'm going to put in public, and public remarks now pulled up for me. So if I want to add that to my search, just click plus. I can go ahead and delete it because I've added it. Maybe I am looking for some lake properties and I want to look up waterfront. So I type in water. And here are all of the features that popped up with the term water in it. So maybe I want waterfront features. Click the plus, it adds it over. Now those two filters that I just added in are now at the very bottom of my list. Scroll back to the top. I'm going to eliminate where it says water. Maybe I'm wondering what goes underneath each filter. I'm going, hey, well, I want to make sure that waterfront features has this, this, and this listed underneath it. Right here where it says click for hints on individual features, this will pop up a new page. And it gives me hints on all of the additional features within that name. So maybe I'm looking up appliances and I want to make sure that appliance has, disposal, a microwave, so on and so forth. This page does expand to become something a little larger. So if I expand this page, I'm able to see everything that goes within it. Like how we added in basement. Maybe I want to make sure I can add in concrete for that basement or unfinished to my search. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and exit out of this screen. And now that I think everything looks great, I've added in those features that I like. At the very top right, you'll see where it says Save Changes. So click Save Changes. And now those features that I've added in have been pulled up. All right, so let's go ahead and practice setting up our search. We haven't set anything in it. We're just setting up and adding those features. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys about 2 minutes to go ahead and practice adding and removing fields to your search. After that, we will go ahead and practice a search. So I'm going to give you 2 minutes and you will go ahead and practice doing a search. Let me go ahead and put a timer up. All right, 3, 2, 1. All right, so minute timer is up. Hopefully you were able to go ahead, signing into your connectMLS account, clicking search, and hopefully you were able to begin adding and removing fields to your search. So now let's go ahead and run a search. We're going to go ahead and get everything set up. So we're going to be working with residential. The listing ID, we're going to leave blank. We are going to work with a single family residence. The status, we are going to leave the same as well. My price point, I'm going to add in 400 to 500. I know that's a pretty large range. But in the upper right-hand side, I can now see my matches have gone down to 3,000. I'm going to go ahead and populate my county, which today we're going to work with Hall County. But if I want multiple counties, I can go ahead and plug that in. I'm typing in Hall. My matches is now down to 86. I'm going to leave the city and postal code, like the zip code, blank for this example. But if I want to, I can plug in anything like Flowery Branch, tab out of it, and there we go, populated. If I have multiple cities, put comma, space, and I can add that in. Oops, I put 2 commas. And I can plug that in. But I'm just going to keep this blank for my example. I'm going to leave the subdivision. Bedrooms, I'm going to put 4 as my minimum. I'm not going to include a max. I don't really want to take any out. Same thing for bathrooms. I'm going to say 3. These schools, I'm going to leave blank. Same thing for total finished areas. But I want to go ahead and add some additional fields because remember, I refreshed my screen. So those fields that I previously had are gone. Add, remove fields. I'm going to put basement. Add that over. Click save. And there we go. Basement is now populated at the very bottom left. I'm going to say concrete. I'm also going to say daylight. I now have 11 matches. And right below that are all the filters that I had previously applied. So we have residential, single family, my price point, county, and those filters I've plugged in. So let's go ahead and view our results. I can click view results right here. And here are all of those searches those 11 matches that populated within that area. I can scroll through all of these. These are in the one-line list view. But if I want to change my viewpoint, I can do so easily right up top here, my upper left-hand side of my screen. I can go from the list view to my thumbnail, which makes the pictures just a little larger. Or I can go ahead and go to my gallery view. If I just click it, here's those pictures. I can scroll through all these images. And there we go. If I want to see these properties listed on the map, I can just click the map off. Now my map is on. And here are those properties in green. If I want to get a little closer, I can just click where that 3 is, where those 3 properties are, and it zooms in. If I want to figure out which property is which, I can change my viewpoint. And if I just hover my mouse over the address, it highlights where that property is on my map. You see how that 3 became red whenever I hovered my mouse over the property address? It's now red. So if I zoom into that 3 area and I hover my mouse over that address again, I now can see it on the map. All right, so that's just searching and utilizing that tool. We are not going to click on these listings today, just because that is for another day. But if you want to go ahead and do some kind of sneak ahead and go ahead, you can click on the property address and you can view everything that's within it. But right up top, you're able to see there's a whole bunch of attachments that are also linked into every single property address. So anytime I pull these properties up and view more details on it, these links will remain on the page for you. So I can email a listing, I can print them, I can star it as a favorite. I can go ahead and select multiple properties at a time. Like if I wanted to view these 2 properties and book showings, I can go ahead and view those 2 properties and add them to my showing time cart. I'm going to deselect them. If I want to go ahead and export these listings to a file, I can do so. I can also sort my properties. I can start a new CMA. I can add this to my cloud CMA, or I can go ahead and display a CMA summary report for these 11 matches, view some driving directions, and the very last 2 where I can go to my searches that I've already had, or save these where I can go ahead and set up an automatic search for a client. Again, that is for another class. The last thing that we're going to discuss today, so I'm going to go home. The very last thing we're going to discuss today is our smart bar. So if you do hop into connectMLS and you just have a quick property address in mind that you want to go ahead and plug in, the smart bar is your best friend. It's this bar at the very top of your screen. Mine is just enlarged. Right now I have my screen zoomed in so you can see it a little more clearly, which is why my smart bar looks a little small. Yours might be a little larger on your page, which is totally fine. If I click within that smart bar, it'll go ahead and bring me a drop down of all of my recent history. This saves, so my recent history will have everything that I've ever searched for in Connect, up to like 100 of them. So if I was wondering about that recent search I just did, the one we just ran, it's right here in my smart bar. It gives me the date and time for when I just worked with it. Also within my smart bar is right here. I like to point this out where the question mark is. Click here for hints and shortcuts. If I click right here for hints and shortcuts, it gives me some additional keywords that I can plug in. If I want to go ahead and type in address, I can put ADDR for abbreviating it and put 10th Street. Or if I have an MLS number, write MLS, then the number. Client name, maybe you want to pull up one of your clients, CL Smith. Agent, you put AG Johnson, maybe you're trying to find an agent. Or an office, OF Realty Partners. So those are some pretty cool features that you can go ahead and help search through and connect. All right, so we've done an overview of how to do our search. We ran a basic search and we went and looked at the map just a little bit, okay? Hopefully you feel a little bit more confident using the tool itself, and just go ahead and practice on your own at your own time. I think you'd absolutely love using it. I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing my screen. And if anyone has any additional questions, I can go ahead and address them at any given time. Thank you guys for tuning in to today's Bootcamp Series 2. I hope you gained some knowledge. We ended perfectly right at the 30-minute mark. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you have any questions, I can go ahead and answer them for you at any time. Oh, I see someone asked, does rearranging the order of the features generate the order of results differently? No. So you'll see your results exactly how they would be in the system. So if you just rearrange the order of the features, you're just kind of moving it to your preference, making the screen look how you like it to look. And then I see, can you send the property through a text message? You can do email right now. They're working on the text message portion of it. Absolutely. Scrolling. All right, guys, since I don't have any more questions, I'm going to go ahead and end the class for today. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We really appreciate you. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please do not hesitate to give us a call.